In the news this week, Stop the Chase. Police unions urged pit manoeuvres to be used against dangerous criminals.
Plus more changes to the state cabinet after failed political coup against the Premier.
This is the Evening News with Ivan Lung and Daniel Staniskov.
Good evening. The recent wave of car chase triggered debate whether police should be allowed to use pit manoeuvres to stop criminals from fleeing. The police unions urging the government to consider the option before more innocent drivers are killed. Nelson Liu begins our coverage.
It's a risky move designed to stop dangerous drivers in police pursuits. The position immobilisation technique, or pit manoeuvre, allows police officers to intercept a car by ramming it. And WA police officers want the powers to use the technique to end dangerous chases.
What the union are calling for is some of the changes in the police policies around how they conduct themselves during emergency driving.
It comes after recent car chase deaths, resulting in Police Union President George Tilbury's calls for the tactic.
Police do liaise quite closely with those officers who are trained in pursuits, and whenever there's been an emergency driving incident, we have a review of that to ensure that the rules were followed.
The opposition is concerned WA's police chases have tripled in the past 5 years, but say the move could improve safety if it cuts pursuits.
Such a manoeuvre may be appropriate, but again, I would expect it only to be in extreme circumstances.
While Police Union President George Tilbury says now is the time to stop reckless drivers, there are concerns the policies are too radical and risk police and public safety.
Nelson Liu, WAMN News.
2 new ministers have been appointed in the state government after a snap rebellion within Liberal Party fails to topple Premier Colin Barnett. Cassandra Elliott joins us from Parliament House with more details. And Cassandra, who took up the position?
Yes, Danielle. Mark Lewis and Paul Miles have been sworn into Parliament at a ceremony at Government House this week. Premier Colin Barnett says he has full confidence in the new ministers. In a press conference, Mr Barnett announced the 2 new cabinet members.
Look, I'm very pleased, and while we've had quite an eventful week, it's always great to see new ministers and new parliamentary secretaries get their chance, and I'm very pleased with the structure of cabinet. And for the new ministers, it's a lifetime dream in politics to actually be a minister.
I'm really looking forward to getting a briefing this afternoon and getting across all the issues in the quite challenging portfolio of transport.
The Barnett Government Cabinet has recently undergone a shuffle following the resignation of Tony Simpson and Dean Nalder.
I have found myself in a situation where I believe that I cannot continue to operate as the minister.
Mr Barnett assures the public of the stability of his ministerial team before next year's state election. Back to you, Ivan.
Thanks very much indeed, Cassandra. To other news, a joint operation involving WA Police and the Australian Intelligence Crime Commission has resulted in a 4-kilogram seizure of meth. The investigation examined suspicious activity of 2 men who boarded a flight from Perth to Sydney and returned to WA on the same day. Both men were intercepted at the domestic airport and were charged for drug possession and intent to sell. A further investigation led to an arrest of a 3rd man from Darlinghurst on Wednesday. 200 kilograms of alleged cocaine substance and 2 guns were also seized.
An exhibition is currently underway at this year's Perth Royal Show displaying historic World War I female outfits. Fiona and Keith Baverstock are the historians behind the Women's of Empire exhibit. They are hoping to educate the future generation about women's roles during the war because they can be easily forgotten.
Well, it's about the women of World War I. It's telling her story. We have women doctors here who did incredible things and were never recognised for it because they were women, and they had trouble getting jobs when they came back to Australia.
The United Nations warned that at least 2 million civilians are without water after one of the water pumping stations near the city of Aleppo shuts down. The rebel-held city faced intensive bombing as the army plans to recapture the city. UN fears the loss of water supply will pose serious health risk for residents. Emergency water trucks have been deployed, but the agency said it's just a temporary solution.
The British Labour Party members have elected Jeremy Corbyn as a new opposition leader. Mr Corbyn won the top job after receiving more than 61% of the votes compared to Owen Smith's 38.2%. After the result announcement stage, Mr Corbyn promised British voters and members to unify the party in an effort to win the next election.
I will do everything I can to repay the trust and the support, to bring our party together, to make it an engine of progress for our country and the people that depend on the Labour Party to protect their interests.
We aired a story 2 weeks ago about health concerns towards genetically modified food. A soundbite played in the story claimed there was no evidence genetically modified foods are unsafe. This is incorrect and we apologise for the error. Ivan.
Thanks, Danielle. And finally tonight, WA police showed their softer side by rescuing some orphaned ducklings in the Joondalup area after their mother was hit by a car. Police Sergeant Amesbury said it took the team of 4 at least 20 minutes to wangle the 7 little ducklings to safety.
My partner and I attended with a box. It took 4 of us 20 minutes to round 7 little ducklings up who didn't want to go in the box, and then we brought them back to the station.
It's understood that ducklings are currently resettled at a 7-acre farm in Tujay. What a happy ending. And those are the top stories you need to know this week.
We have the latest news on our website and Facebook. Have a great week. Good night.
See ya.